Hey Copper Nerds, if you've been following the channel since the beginning, you might remember when I did a little overview on this particular Counterfeit 1794 large cent that I had found on eBay, but was deleted because it was reported by a bunch of people. Well, good news, I finally got one to add to my Counterfeit collection. Let's look at it. So you might recall that one of my favorite features was this filled A. I thought it was hilarious. This example has that same filled A. I'll show you a picture real quick. Here's that. And it appears that it's using the same obverse die as this other counterfeit that I have taken a look at, which is much different than this one. Now, none of these examples have edge lettering. They don't even try. None of these are stamped copy. They are counterfeits, but they are, I mean, pretty low-end counterfeits. Although the one I got today is perhaps the most convincing in terms of color. It feels a little light. It is not made of copper, but you know, it looks closer than something like this antiqued whatever the heck this thing is supposed to be in terms of the surface appearance. Now again, I do think these are both the same obverse die. I think these are coming from the same mill. They don't attribute to anything else, but these two attribute with each other fairly well, despite their different finishes. But the reverses are substantially different, and they did make a lot of improvement to this one relative to that one. Now, since I have these photos here handy, some of the obvious things other than the sloppy letters, the filled A, the melted looking kind of ribbon bow and stems, ribbon bows and tails. Oh, hi, cat. They really cleaned a lot of that up on this one. This hair detail is all wrong as well. It's really chunky, not finely engraved. And look at some of the unique engraving though. You've got like this little void here, sort of a weird little downturned lock there that sort of meets the one below it, leaving that hole in the middle. This is sort of a double lock that comes to a big weird point. Really sort of unique hair engraving and not anything close to any authentic Liberty Cap hair design. Maybe a little more like the 1795s, which had more chunky hair details than the 1794s, but this is horrific and they match perfectly. Let's look at a couple more pictures, or at least a couple more zooms on these two, and just pay attention to some of those patterns. What, you want out? You want to help me make this? Here, you want to just hang out with me? Okay. All right. Look at that, cat hair everywhere. All right, we might have to. This is going really well. This is going really well. I just got a little bit of cat hair on my shirt. A little bit of cat hair here, there. Well, I have to decide how much of this to leave in, because I'm not gonna start over. You guys like these videos to be authentic and real, right? Well, I was just interrupted by one of the cats, the one that lives in the woods that only comes home like every handful of days for a little bit. I gotta lint roll my shirt too. It's just gonna fall on the desk. Okay, where was I at? Yeah, I'm gonna show you some pictures of the reverses and obverses on these. And before I do, again, these two have not terrible looking reverses in terms of the shape of the letters and positions of the devices. The new one from today is really poorly put together, which is kind of why I like that one and really wanted to pick one up. And then again, let me know what you think, but cat hair. I do think that these two are the same die. This one is obviously different. These two I picked up off of Etsy. This one was listed on eBay, and actually kind of a cool story with this one. It was listed at like 800 bucks, which, you know, I understand if you don't realize that you have a counterfeit, you're just throwing a number out there, and that's what this seller threw out there. And this was a reputable seller with 100% positive feedback. I reached out to the seller. I said, hey, that's a counterfeit. I sent him a link to the video where I used these photos. And I said, I'd love to buy it from you for the going price for a counterfeit, just because it's an example of a counterfeit that I don't have, and I would like to use it for educational purposes on the channel. The seller was totally cool, was like, yep, didn't realize it was counterfeit, but after watching your video, I can see that it is. I'll gladly give it to you for what you're offering. So that's how I ended up picking this one up. Kind of cool. Let's look at some photos real quick. Holy cow, you guys, this is this coin. I was just doing editing and I saw that dark spot around the NE and NT in 1 cent on the right. It's there. Look, see that S right there where it's got that little weird stain around the S? It's got a little, yep, see that little triangle? That's there. That little weird dark spot under the F and of. Right there. So this is actually the counterfeit coin that I based the video I did using those photos on, and I was able to track down and purchase that actual coin itself, which has apparently changed hands since when it was on eBay and reported before. There's sort of a dark stain there, and in the cap, you can see that stain on the cap. So cool. Such a cool, neat little bonus discovery for the end of the video. I will toss this in during final editing. So this is really mostly just a check-in. We don't have anything, you know, earth-shattering here. If you spend any time collecting 1794s, it should be very apparent to you that this does not attribute, and it is a counterfeit. But, you know, I wanted to show it to you. And again, I've been hoping to pick one up that has that sort of melty reverse, which, you know, I hope you found it as comical as I did. I thought it was kind of fun to look at. But, you know, one more for the counterfeit collection here. Just give it a real light oiling and brushing because, you know, I'm hanging on to these. Want to keep them looking their best. And this one has had a little bit of mistreatment. You probably saw a couple of spots on the reverse. So let's just make sure this one's got a little bit of oil on it. Try and protect that surface from any further, you know, spit marks or fingerprints or whatever else. And then of course I am going to store it in a capsule, and I keep the counterfeit sort of off on the side of my desktop. You don't always see them in the screen, but I do keep them up there just because it's a little novelty that I collect alongside the real ones. So yeah, not a terrible looking little fake coin and a fun addition. Thanks for checking this one out. I will look forward to talking to you a little bit more in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. All right, final postscript. I figured out I figured out where that depiction that we're seeing here with the hair and the weird details, I figured out where it came from, and that's going to be the subject of an entirely different video, but here is a preview.